welcome back to another episode of Let's Chat. And joining me today is a fellow that puts the fine in fine arts, not only a local thespian, but the fine arts coordinator here at Somerset Community College, Mr. Thomas Alvey. Thank you so much for joining me today and let me step inside your menagerie.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there's washing machines in the back, so, you know, we could just step inside.
Yeah. So it's a little chilly here.
It is
right
really cold. The background tells you everything.
But let's go back in time here. A few years ago, you got your MFA in writing for screen and stage or screen, I don't know, my brain is backwards. So what kind of drove you to that specific facet of theater?
I'm a huge theater person. I accidentally fell into it, and when I was in high school, I would write little skits, and I was like, you know what, I should keep going. And so in college, I took a couple of playwriting classes, and then I was like, you know what, I just have to get a whole degree in this. This is what I've got to do. Yeah, it was just there was no other option.
Oh, no. Dang. So you said you accidentally fell into it. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I had a friend who was like, hey, you should come to an audition with me. And I was like, okay, I don't do theater. I was a band kid.
Oh.
And I know, right? And she was like, because she did theater and band. And I was like, sure, why not? So that was at the Capital Arts Youth Theater in 2011. And I got cast as the son of the main character, and I was also understudying the main character.
Oh.
So that was super fun for a
first time?
For the first time out. And I just kept doing theater. And I accidentally fell into it because I didn't think I was gonna get anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I was doing. They were like, "Do you have a monologue?" And I was like, "A what?" So, but I did church plays and stuff. Mm-hmm. But actually doing real theater was just complete accident.
So your first exposure to it was acting. So how did you stumble into the writing aspect of it though?
I've always been a creative kid. I would write stories in my head, just goofing around. I would do improv all the time. And so I was like, what if I just started writing this down on paper? And I would look at scripts and stuff, and I'd read scripts, and I'm like, that's easy, I can do that. And so I just started doing it. It wasn't great, but I did. But
like you said, you've been a very experienced thespian. Why do I keep saying thespian? I just like that word so much.
Thespian's a good word. It's a good word.
Word of the day. But you've done it for so many years, and so script writing is the main thing, but you've done so many other factors, you've done acting, as we just mentioned, you've done set design, and you've done directing just recently. We'll dive into that more later. So have you clicked with any other aspects of it?
As stressful as it is, I love set design. Because I mean, again, going back to the building worlds in my head, building a world on stage is so fun. And I haven't gotten the chance to have a full set crew of all right, let's make a house. I like stuff where it's okay, here's an idea, but I don't know. I like being able to create worlds. I used to build houses out of cardboard boxes.
Yeah, same.
And Minecraft, building
nice.
Houses or Legos.
Legos, I was gonna say, Legos is a big one there.
But doing stuff like that, I've always loved building stuff. I'm oh, let me just make a little house like Sims. It would always be something weird and stupid. I'm I just like it, building the entire world around it.
So if things fall through with theater, you're gonna go into architecture, right?
Yeah, let me go back for another degree.
Oh boy. So you've taken on, I didn't realize it was your first solo time directing with Almost Maine here at the college. How was that experience?
It was crazy. It was fun. Well, I did the 10-minute play festivals, and I co-directed, or I didn't co-direct, I assistant directed some things. I helped direct some things, but I've never done any a full production by myself. So Almost Maine was the first this is just me. All right, let's see what I got. And it was really eye-opening because I think of things as an actor, but having to step into the other side of the table, as a lot of people say, it is so different because you see the things that you as an actor don't see. And I mean, I know my mentors are always that's why you have a director. It's to help focus and help do that. Because actors, you act, we do things and we just have fun and we goof around.
It's called play for a reason.
Exactly. It's not called a series. It's called a play. We do things that don't make any sense. And as a director, you're can we fix that? Or if you're acting across from somebody and you're I'm not gonna give them notes, but oh my gosh, please help someone else. So being that third person of okay, you guys aren't connecting. We need to fix that and like make this a real connection. Like it is so interesting to see that, and I'm like, I don't know, it's fun. Like,
and do you feel like you're kind of falling into like a niche of productions? Because like, let me elaborate. So you did direct some for the 10-minute play festival, and that was kind of like a variety of smaller plays. And then watching Almost Maine, it was almost kind of the same ballpark, but of course had the overall same theme. So is that kind of like, was that intentional or what?
Yes, it is very intentional. I am still very worried about doing like a full production storyline directing. In the works, I'm wanting to, but I think I like having the little stories, so I don't have to like, someone doesn't have to commit to like the full storyline right now. And it's helping me as a director, like, okay, I directed this one this way and this one this way, and let me see how I like my directing style. This was just an easier production for me to put up for my first thing, where it's like, okay, let me just find the small scenes and like, we'll work from there. But next year, we're working on something cool.
Well, it's probably fun though, because like you like mentioned earlier, you're into like making the worlds and the stories. So doing like these variety productions, it's like you're in charge of these individual sort of like mini worlds and mini stories. Yeah. And so I like that. Yeah,
it is really fun to have like because you can kind of get a mixture of everything. I mean, the 10-minute play festivals was everything, like every kind of genre, and the upcoming 10-minute play festivals is every kind of genre. So it's fun in that aspect where it's like, yeah, these are their own like things within the larger thing. So that's kind of fun.
Like, can you be more specific with what's coming up here for SUC?
Yeah, so this coming semester we are doing the second 10-minute play festival, second annual. I'm hoping this becomes a regular thing. I'm still working on the details of like what it will be, but for now I got 800 submissions from all across the world.
Oh my gosh.
And that was not what I wanted, but it's what I got, and I was very happy with that. So going through a bunch of submissions and doing that was just such a fun experience, because I mean, coming from a playwriting side where it's like, that's cool, that 800 stories just came my way and I didn't have to do very much for it. That's coming up in the spring, and then we've got our fall production. I mean, I'm kind of keeping on the same Kleberg schedule, where it's like fall full production, in the spring either film production or short skits kind of thing. And then once I get my once I get my feet planted in the ground, or whatever the saying is, I want to start adding more and more onto it. But right now it's like, all right, let me just do the basics of like short plays, long play, short play, long play, and we'll be fine. This was definitely a foundational semester where I was like, okay, breathe, just figure it out and go.
And so this might also take a little bit of time, but do you see anything coming forth with like the film aspect of it as well? Yeah,
so my background is not in film.
Oh.
Surprisingly. I have written one screenplay. I have done a couple of like digital video production things. I don't have anything planned yet, but I have to learn how everything that I have works first, because I have no idea. And that's on my schedule of like, okay, let's just see. And then we'll go into more like, because I had a really great class in college that was called digital video productions, where it was, you know, like every week you'd have like some kind of video production or video schedule and something. Like we did like remake a movie trailer shot by shot.
Oh my gosh.
And like stuff like that. Like I want to do kind of that more.
Yeah.
And then build on, like, as people get more interested in the film aspect, maybe looking towards doing like a short film, and maybe looking towards doing a full-length film. But that's, you know, that's a 5-year plan. 5 to 10 year plan.
Oh. And so going back to the stuff you've written, what all have you written? I guess more so play-wise.
So I've written a couple of 10-minute plays, and I wrote, it's like a full-length one-act. I don't know how to describe it. I thought it was a full-length, and someone was like, hey, this is the first act of a play. And I'm like, oh, great, awesome. So I wrote that. And I just have like a couple things here and there. That's one thing I want to focus on too, is just writing more. I mean, like, look at Kleberg's collection of things that he's written.
Gosh, he's got libraries worth.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm very jealous. I'm like, how did you make your brain do that? I can't sit. If I sit down at a computer, I'm like, all right, I have to plan. I can't just do, I have to plan.
But you have dabbled, this is something I really want to talk to you about, in the world of audio drama. Talk about that now.
Yeah, so I wrote an audio drama. And I want to keep writing more, but I have to figure out how to do it. Because that was a thing that was really surprising, and I'm glad Flashback picked up Camp Anomaly. So fun fact, that's actually not the original name of it.
Oh.
Well, it originally was called Camp Freak, because it was supposed to be like a freak show. But everyone's like, hey, that's a little abrasive. And I'm like, that's so right.
Camp Anomaly also just sounds spookier, like more mysterious.
Like Anomaly is like, okay, is there aliens?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's how you hook them in.
Exactly.
And so kind of give like a quick synopsis, because I can rail it, because we'll get to that. Give a quick synopsis of it.
So Camp Anomaly is a narrative audio podcast that is about a man who lived in a small town in Kentucky, who moved to a big town and worked on the police force. And then after he retired, he was just kind of goofing around, trying to start his own podcast of like, this is the things that I used to do. And he gets a call from one of his buddies that says, hey, your niece is missing. You need to go find her. You need to come back home and help us find her. And it's him doing the investigation behind the sheriff's office's back, just trying to find his niece in this small town. And it gets kind of spooky and weird, and he meets all these people from his past that turn out to not be the greatest people.
And you do have 3 episodes out.
Yes, there are 3 episodes out. There are 6 episodes written. Like the last 3 episodes are written. I thought about writing some more, or maybe doing a season 2, but I want to get season 1 out first.
Say, where is it, Thomas?
I am not in charge of that, but I thought about it. I thought about going like just self-producing the last 3 episodes and just having it. I mean, because almost all of the people are still in town. So, Eli. But you know, you have to get a couple people back from Lexington to.
Oh, darn it. No, kidnapping time. But things are certainly picking up in the local theater community here. And so I just gotta thank you for what you bring, what Flashback brings, what SEC Fine Arts brings, and I hope it only continues to grow because you got a lot of ideas going.
Yeah, it's gotta get them done.
Yeah, someone's gotta do it.
Exactly.
So you gotta work up to that Cleveland level.
I know, I've already got the hair for it.
But with that said, that concludes another episode here. I want to thank you again for joining me and giving me your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And I guess that's a wrap.